Okay, and we're ready to go. So thank you all for joining us. This is our ProLink webinar that we're hosting on a monthly basis. It's geared towards developers, owner agents in the affordable housing industry. Today, we're going to be covering Procorem. We're doing an overview of Procorem. Our hope in sharing this session is to just provide some guidance and how to use Procorem. A lot of our agency clients, we also support our state housing finance agencies with their systems, their portfolio management systems. So oftentimes the developers, owner agents logging into Procorem are doing so for requirements that are part of the agency that they're working with on their projects. And so oftentimes we have our agencies involved in training those parties and how to use Procorem, but we thought we would take some time to offer a little extra support and guidance into the features and kind of the functionality of Procorem so that it's easier for you to use in collaborating with agencies, and perhaps you'll see some value in using it for your internal operations as well. So with that being said, I'll just move ahead. I'm Bree Kruder. I'm the Executive VP for ProLink Solutions. I've been with the business for 15 years. I'm joined with Jim Paris, who's our sales engineer, and he's going to be providing the overview demo of Procorem after my introduction. So again, today I'll cover introduction, kind of set the stage for Jim. Then we will cover our Procorem overview. I'll cover that, and then we'll hand it over to Jim for that live demonstration. So covering who ProLink Solutions is, if you're new to us, we've been in the affordable housing industry for a very long time now. I think our first client was 2006. That's technically, it wasn't affordable. Previous to that, we've always really been in the real estate finance and portfolio management business. And so we support housing finance agencies. Our first affordable housing focused client was a housing finance agency, Virginia Housing. We now support, I think, 20 agencies, including two supportive services agencies on ProLink HFA, which is the system that our agency clients use behind the scenes to basically manage their portfolio in affordable and handle compliance asset management. Also the origination and development stages of those deals. So we have really tried to provide holistic tools to support the affordable housing industry. So from end to end in that deal life cycle of really building and supplying affordable housing from our state agency perspective, that's what we really drove and have accomplished over the years. We then have expanded to cover more constituents in affordable. So then we started working with syndicators and investors in affordable, offering a similar product for their role in affordable housing, and then also trying to supply more value to developers, owner agents, property managers who are supporting these projects. So we have now kind of collected a ProLink product suite that we offer the industry as a whole, Procorem being one of the products in that suite. And our team is made up of technologists with a lot of affordable housing tenure, having been with our company for a long time. We have folks who've been with us since our very first affordable housing clients. We have people who've come from the industry, have worked for similar organizations that we serve as our clients today. So that does give us a good foundation to support the very particular needs of affordable and help to advance this industry as we move along in partnership together. A little bit about these webinars. So we have been hosting webinars since we all kind of went into more of a virtual mode in doing business. Starting with our ProLink HFA product, we offer webinars for agencies who are interested in industry news surrounding portfolio management, and saw a lot of success there. And we wanted to offer the same thing for our developers, owner agents, and property managers as well. So we decided to start this series this year. So I think this is our third one that we're doing. So still fairly new, but I'm looking forward to see it grow and hopefully involve some of the participants as guests over time and really just hone in and talk about different industry needs. We also like to sprinkle in some software and offer some tools as they kind of the opportunity arises to see if we can collaborate and get something, you know, a little more automated or a little bit easier, or information a little more widely shared as we move along here. So typically in these sessions, you'll see a business presenter, which is going to be me today, and then a technical presenter such as Jim doing our Procorem demo. And we do record these. Again, that audience being you, our developers, property managers. So this is just a quick little view. I thought it would be interesting to start us out with, since we are kind of getting to know our audience here, since this is only our third webinar on this track with, so it's 19 agencies, not 20, maybe pretty soon here, but what you can see kind of the topography across the nation of where we're supporting our agency clients. I am wondering if you, I know everyone's kind of located across the country these days, if you are joining because you're doing business within a specific state that we support, I would love for you to chat that. So please share that with me. Also, if you have any other questions or areas of focus that you're really hoping to see in this webinar, please chat us and we'll try to answer it during the session or follow up with you afterwards. We really do want to engage with you. But please send me that in the chat. I'd love to know if you're really kind of involved in a specific state and logging in because you're being asked to use Procorem by your agency, where you're coming from, or if you're doing projects in multiple states that ProLink is involved with, let me know. Or if you're not even represented on the map yet in blue, please let me know. I would love to hear from you. So looking forward to reading through those chats. For our Procorem overview, just a couple little like bullet point list of what Procorem provides. Again, Procorem is just one of the applications that we offer as part of our suite of products for the affordable housing industry. So we call it our collaborative platform. It really started as a collaboration portal, kind of document and communication platform for our agencies to offer their partners to offer secure space to share information. Since then, we now have over 1,000 developers using the platform to collaborate with agencies. We have plenty of property managers and others as well who are involved in submitting tenant events and handling compliance through Procorem. So now we are starting to do as much as we can to build in some additional value for you guys. We want to help you make affordable housing, really supporting this industry and this vocation, make it easier. It's a difficult business to be in, and there's a lot of red tape and a lot of things to kind of overcome to get these projects done. So whatever ProLink it can provide, whether it's technology or connections to our network that has kind of evolved through the use of Procorem and so many different constituents being represented there, we want to do that with you. So that's kind of the basis of this webinar and our outreach to this community. Again, Procorem was specifically built for the affordable housing industry. We didn't have anything else in mind when we started it. So it is purpose-built. You'll see some kind of nods to that throughout. But there are some like kind of core pieces. While it was built for the affordable housing industry, we did try to build it in a flexible way because we kind of saw this as a potential in the future where we would have a lot of different users on the platform with different needs. So some main kind of core functionality pieces within Procorem. When you log in, you're going to see this with Jim in just a few minutes, but you log in and you kind of see an activity feed similar to a social media activity feed where everything you're associated with is kind of on one page, organized by the date of which an event occurred. But then a work center is deal specific. So you'll be invited and kind of collaborating on different work centers for each project that you might be involved with across It could even be multiple agency accounts if you're a larger developer playing in multiple states. Within a work center, we have multiple communication channels. So Procorem notifications go to email. So you get those email notifications to your email. You can actually open that email and respond, and it posts back to Procorem. We have a posts area right in Procorem that kind of digests all of the communication that happens between you and those other users of the work center. We offer, I'm kind of skipping around on this little chart here, but tasks. So our agencies oftentimes use task functionality to chart out like the deadlines for information that you need to provide them. That is flexible. I mean, this kind of comes with base functionality. You can use it internally as well for your own workflow if you're interested in getting your own Procorem account. Task functionality is something our agencies will template out and update kind of in bulk as their procedures and requirements change and those dates need to be updated. So that's something that kind of automates that process and reminders and kind of tracking of when things are submitted, timestamps, an audit trail for our agency clients and any user of ProLink for task management. And those tasks, duration and deadlines populate the calendar within Procorem. Finally, we have a document repository that you'll see Jim demonstrate, and that is where any attachments or files or templates that you need to use to submit information, they're going to be located within our files and documents section in Procorem. So you can see this is kind of just representing the two parties, maybe the agency and you and your role working with and collaborating with whoever might own that account on Procorem through all of these different tools to get what we need done. So just a couple other main points on Procorem. So internal and external collaboration is what it's meant for. Even our agency clients, oftentimes they have their work centers that are working with you, and then they also have an internal work center within the agency. So it's certainly something we see collaboration going kind of from both ends, internal and external. We offer complete document management functionality, industry-focused task management. We can template those things, make it very automated. We want to build in transparency into Affordable. So while the agency is notified when you upload something to Procorem, you are also notified when the agency downloads something from Procorem. So there's definitely like a kind of transparent foundation within Procorem to fill in the gaps and kind of leave out the questioning of where you might be in the process and where you might stand in that relationship as you're working through these projects together. Again, in-app commenting and email notifications is a big piece of that collaboration. And then it is auditable. We don't get rid of anything in Procorem. It does kind of live on with that work center forever, which makes it really helpful if you have any change in staff or people involved in your projects. Inviting them to that work center that really allows them to see the full picture of what's happened or occurred since the project started. Some of the things that our agency clients often have you use Procorem for today is application submission, tenant event submission. We have an app specifically built to support tenant events. We do additional compliance kind of templates and services around compliance for our agencies. And then we've offered more recently third-party services. So we've been hosting these webinars and including some of our partners that have risen over the years in Affordable, like inspection, third-party inspectors, gap financing, corporations that can provide gap financing. We've actually been able to help some of our projects and developers secure gap financing through Procorem, which has been really cool. That is called the Procorem Marketplace. So if you see anything within your activity feed related to the marketplace, that's what that is an opportunity to kind of source some gap financing through our relationships that have been developing over time on this platform. So continuing to evolve there, but those are some of the things. This is just a quick picture of the dashboard that your activity dashboard, the landing screen when you log into Procorem. This is what you see. Jim is going to cover what this really represents. But you will see that when he begins his demo. We then have our files. So this shows within the files option on Procorem within a work center, all of the different folders that the agency, if you're logging into someone else's account, they'll have that pre-populated and standardized for you. The right-hand side shows the collaborators who are involved and invited into this specific project, which is Garden Court Apartments on this screenshot. And then, did I skip one? I think, yep, so this is the task dashboard. You can see right here, Jim will cover a live demonstration of our task functionality. On that left-hand panel, when you're within Procorem, within a work center like Garden Court Apartments, which is a specific project, you can see this menu list on the left, which represents kind of that visual I just covered with you. Tasks is where you will often be assigned certain deadlines or see kind of the flow of requirements that the agency is expecting with due dates and duration, again, populating on the calendar option. So those are some of the main features we'll cover with you today. I'm going to hand it off to, sorry, I'm flipping around here, to Jim to start that live demo.
Thanks, Bree. Appreciate that. So yeah, today I'm mainly going to be going over some I'll call it like Procorem basics. So the first thing I want to share with you guys is what happens when I get invited to a Procorem work center. All right, it looks like my screen is sharing. So if I'm a new user, if somebody invites me to collaborate with them on a Procorem Work Center, this is the email I'm going to get. It's going to say, hello, Jim. Jim from ABC Development invited you to join the Greenwood Village Work Center. If I don't already have a Procorem account, it's going to ask me to go ahead and sign up. And it's going to take me to this page. And I'm just going to create a password and agree to the terms and conditions and sign up. And it's going to take me to this account in this work center. I'm going to go back to my main account just because there's a lot more data than there is in this demo account. But that's how you sign up. It's pretty easy. Once you get that email, you just click, you make a password, and you're good to go. Procorem is all kind of centered around this concept of work centers, and there can be work centers for kind of building a property like you developers would see, and some of our HFAs also use it for asset management after projects and being closed out and are placed in service. I'm mainly going to focus on my Greenwood Village Work Center here today. And the way most of these work centers are going to be set up when you're invited to them is there's going to be a pretty organized file folder layout. And then you're going to see some categories and subcategories that are going to be specific to the type of development that we're looking at. And these folders and subfolders can go as detailed as the work center administrator would like. So I can go to underwriting, and then there's different folders for different underwriting documents, etc. There's also going to be tasks related to each work center that I can access via the tasks tab over here. And it's going to show me kind of like the chain of tasks that's going to be happening throughout this project. First in underwriting, of course, site control, third-party receipts, stuff needed from the management agent, and then construction and architectural documents. I'm going to find an example task here for you guys that might be a little bit similar to something that you would see it as a developer. Let me see. Let me find it. Construction progress schedule. And when you open up a task, you're going to see a number of things that kind of guide you towards what you need to do to complete a task. So once I'm in this task, I'm going to see, okay, so what we need to do is we need to fill out the attached template and upload it to the the appropriate folder in the work center. Pretty easy. And when that's done, I'll have to mark it finished by clicking this little button here. Sometimes you might see, or you might even be an approver on a task. And what this means is you have to wait until the assignee does what they need to do, review what they did, and then go ahead and approve it. There can also be followers on a task. So maybe you're a follower on a task, and that would mean you don't really have to do anything. You're just there so you can kind of get notified of any updates. You can get notified when this task gets worked on, and when this task gets completed, and when this task gets approved. And then you can see kind of reminders here. So you can see when this task will remind you if you have not done it. And then any files related to this. So you can see in this task, hey, please fill out the attached template, and then upload it to the construction and architectural documents folder in the work center. Pretty easy. I can download this document. I can work on the document, and then I'll have to go back into files, and I would have to upload it into the appropriate section. And then once I do that, I can go back to my task and mark it as completed.
So a couple of things I would just note as well. Go ahead, Jim, on saving that. That's fine. Depending on your role, if you go, Jim, back to the overview of the tasks, just all of them listed out, you can also mark it as complete. That checkbox that you see right there that's in gray, you can mark it as complete right there on that overview slide. Or if you're an approver, that's the thumbs up, you can mark it right there on that overview. So if you are not assigned a task as like an approver, for instance, then you're not going to be able to mark it off as approved. It's only going to allow you to do the check mark if you're the one who's completing and assigned to complete that task. And something else that you might be wondering is if you notice, in a project, you're kind of automatically assigned multiple roles, or sorry, multiple tasks. It's probably because you have a role within the work center that's associated with numerous tasks. So that's what I was referring to earlier. A lot of these work centers, our agency clients will set up as kind of a standardized template, which should hopefully clear up some, gray areas for your work as well. But they will, template out and standardize the different stages of the projects and assign roles to the collaborators that they invite into the work center. So if you have the developer role that the agency assigns to you as a collaborator in the work center, and they assign a certain task to the developer role, or a certain number of tasks are assigned to the developer role, you will automatically get those assignments because that's the role that you have within the work center, if that makes sense. So it's all kind of template driven to kind of eliminate the chance of missing something and give that level of insight to everybody on who needs to do what from the very beginning.
Yeah, as you can see, I just kind of showcased that here. If I go to assignees, I don't need to pick an actual person like Bree mentioned. It can just be assigned to anyone in the role of developer, and it's automatically going to choose Dennis Mack and Jim Demo as the assignees because those are their roles within the system.
Yeah, the roles within that specific work center they're invited to. So if you're wondering why you're assigned certain things, it might have to do with the role that you have assigned to you within the work center.
Exactly. And then there's some other cool tools that you can look at. There's activity, and this is really a historical log of everything that's been done on the project and when and by who. It almost looks like a social media feed to me, but it'll kind of show you the history of this work center and what's been done so far, who did it, and what still needs to kind of get done. Another thing that I wanted to highlight for you guys was I'm going to go back to my home page and I'm going to go to my tasks. So let's say you're somebody, you don't really administer a work center, but you're somebody who's been invited to a few work centers, and there's stuff that people are asking you for. What you can do is you can go into your homepage and go straight to My Tasks, and this will give you a list of everything that you need to get done right here. So you can kind of just go through this list, almost treat it like a workflow, and just move through everything pretty quickly. You can also look at completed tasks too. So anything that you've done that you've finished, if you want to look at that for whatever reason, you can do that as well. And then any tasks that you're following. So if you're added as like a follower on the task, you can look at that too.
Yeah. So again, if you're following along, if you have Procorem up, because I know some of you might be looking at your own Procorem accounts, if you would go to your home page to see that view, and then when you click My Tasks, you know, that's showing all the tasks that you're assigned across projects. So it's not just a specific project. It's going to show any project you have going on, any tasks that you're associated across those deals you might be involved with, if you have multiple projects going on with the agency at one time.
Yeah. So I mean, as you guys can see here, the using Procorem is relatively easy. There's not a whole lot you need to know. There's a little bit more that you can look at if you're somebody who's creating these work centers, or if you're a work center administrator. There's a few other things. There's a few other tools here, but as far as somebody, let's say you're somebody who an agency is inviting to work centers just to give you tasks and ask you for documentation. You've pretty much seen everything there is, everything that you need to see today. You go in to the work center you're invited to, look at the tasks, do the tasks that have been assigned to you, and then use this file folder structure if you're being asked to upload any kind of documentation.
Yep. And just remember, if it's related to uploading documentation, uploading that documentation does not mark the task off as complete. You need to actually go back to the task within the task option there on the menu item, and check it off. If there's any specific areas of interest or questions about functionality or needs, I would love to hear it in the chat as well. So please let us know if there's something that you are specifically joining to learn about or understand better. And we do plan to offer additional Procorem kind of tours specific to roles in the future. So this is kind of a little bit of an overview one. We're staying pretty high level right now, just giving you a tour of the very basic functionality that Procorem offers regardless of your role, with the intention of sharing in the future a webinar specific to developer tasks and one specific to an owner agent who might be submitting compliance data. We also, just if you are an owner agent by chance, we do offer in usually like the January timeframe a tenant event training. So if you have had to submit tenant events through our tenant event portal to the agency in the past, please look out for the training that we will offer likely the second week of January, sometime around the middle of January, to specifically go through that and walk you through a real training, not just a kind of a tour, but a real training of that process. Jim, do you have anything else left to cover on the demo?
No, I don't, unless there's any questions. I don't see anything.
Okay, I don't see any questions coming through. Thank you guys for your time in this presentation. We appreciate it. And please do, if you are struggling with anything and you see opportunity where something like Procorem could solve a business need of yours, we would love to talk to you and hear about it, just for our own understanding. I mean, it's there, it's available, and it's built for the affordable housing industry. So however we might be able to help you with that, we would love to do so. And please reach out to us if we can support you further. Otherwise, please look for the announcement of our next webinar, which we will share relatively soon here. Let me see if there's a slide on that. I'll share my screen again here. So we will be updating you with the presentation deck associated with this recording as a follow-up, and then we will be sharing details on our next presentation, which I do believe will be a little bit more specific to one of those roles within Procorem. So thank you again, and we'll see you next time.